Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of the Paidia Cup Women's Matchmaking Season. I am Epitomes. I am joined here by Ashcast, and we are so incredibly excited to bring you this third week featuring teams University of Houston Scarlet versus Andromeda.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited for this upcoming matchup, but we also do have to give a little bit of a rundown of how this all works. And as a reminder, this tournament is powered by PaidiaGaming.com. Anyone with a free account on PaidiaGaming.com is able to sign up for tournaments, host tournaments, play in the matchmaking seasons, and much more. We encourage you guys to check it out because the kicker is that you can still sign up for this weekly matchmaking opportunity, even though we're already here in week number 3.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Paidia is founded and supported by a diverse group of women, so definitely something that you want to check out if you want to support more diversity and marginalized genders in gaming. So now headed on to the next, we know that Paidia Gaming is also having the CECC qualifiers, and the signups for those are also now open. So if you are interested in competing in collegiate esports, then that is definitely something that you want to check out.
No, for sure. I'm really looking forward to today's matchups, though, Tala. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's a lot of fun here within the matchmaking season. That's the name of the game, is just bringing some representation to the table, giving an opportunity for competition to these teams as well. And what's so fun about it is the fact that you can just, grab a group of friends and make a team together and whatnot. But I do believe that we do have the picks and bans just about ready for you guys. If you want to check them out, Tala, why don't you take us through those?
So we obviously have the bands of Pearl and Haven. I feel like Pearl is a little bit more obvious, definitely more popular in, the pro scene these days, but it's also still an unfamiliar map. And then that brings us to the first two maps being Icebox and Fracture, both teams picking Attack for both respective maps, and then banning out Ascent and Lotus. I am a little bit surprised about Ascent, but that leaves Split as our decider. Ash, what do you think about these map picks?
It's interesting. I think having Icebox and Fracture up first is really fun for at least us on a viewer standpoint, but like to play as well. Because when it comes down to it, we've so far avoided like the mainstay maps. Like that's Haven, Ascent, and then usually up in the air for what the third one would be. So I really like that these teams are shaking it up. And I think it's also a little bit dangerous too, though, because Icebox and Fracture are very lurk heavy maps. Like, you have a lot of potential to find information, try and get behind your opponents depending on how they handle the defender's side. And the same thing goes for the attack, though. So, do you think on our first map we'll be seeing a Sage for both teams?
I definitely feel like Sage is a popular pick. Sometimes we do see the Killjoy, but I think Sage is that safest Sentinel. A lot of the time, though, on Icebox, we do see the double Sentinel as
Mhm.
well, as opposed to double Initiator or double Duelist, because I think teams do just like having a singular Duelist, usually a Jet or maybe even a Raze. That can create a lot of space on Icebox and Fracture, especially on those big A sites where you really need someone to be able to take a lot of space very quickly. But I definitely feel you're right about this very feast or famine style that we're probably
Mhm.
going to be seeing in the rounds of these maps.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting for sure to see how things do go down. Obviously, Viper is a mainstay for both sides. I highly doubt that we'll see any compositions without Viper. But when it comes down to it, I'm looking more towards also if you're gonna go for a solo Sage pick, going for two initiators, trying to like recoup that lack of like flank watching ability with just general information that initiators are able to provide to you. KO is a pretty popular pick on this map, and I feel like Sova and Fade are pretty interchangeable just depending on your general play style. But I don't think we'll have to wait too much longer. But is there anything else that you might want to see coming out here for team comps?
I definitely want one of these teams to maybe try out the Neon pick on Fracture, since Fracture is a guaranteed map. Neon is made for Fracture. Her play style is just so conducive to how that map wants you to play, with these really hard and fast rotations that you get on the attack as well as that defense, and using the relay bolts to clear out corners. And I really do like seeing Neon's play, but I think she is definitely a little bit more of a niche duelist, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't want to pick her up as readily as they would pick up Jet.
For sure. High skill ceiling too with that duelist as well. But we do have the game just about ready, so we won't have to wait too much longer. We get to find out which agents these teams are going to be going for on our first map, that being Icebox. Again, this is Andromeda's pick, and Houston Scarlet deciding to start out on the attacking side. And as some hovers do start to trickle in, that's going to be Altair on the Viper pick first off, and the duelist we're actually seeing is going to be the Reyna.
Oh, well, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised by Reyna. We saw the Reyna last week as well, but there is the Neon hover that's coming in from the side of Andromeda. But University of Houston Scarlet has this very, I feel like, basic team comp. For Icebox, Killjoy definitely feels like a safe replacement for Chamber that was really strong in the meta before. The Reyna is interesting. I don't know how much she's going to be able to do for the team, but if Alita is able to go for some really, really strong opening frags, have those untradeable positions with the dismiss, definitely could work in their favor, especially since they are starting on the attack.
Absolutely. That's going to be the biggest thing that you're looking forward to right? On for University of Houston, we have to be seeing those first bloods or at least value coming out from this Reyna pick, because her kit is so focused around fragging, about being able to get yourself out scot-free or heal up. And when it comes down to it, your util doesn't really do too much for the rest of your team. But we're actually seeing the double duelist coming out here for University of Houston Scarlet. So I'm looking towards Orchid likely being that jet opper if they are running the double.
Yeah, I definitely feel it gives a lot more flexibility on the attack having a double duelist, since one person can make space. Although I do feel like Jet is not as good, or Reyna is pales in comparison when it comes to space making abilities, since her Leer can be shot out and it's just entirely up to the frags. On the other hand, we did see, I believe, a Sky coming out, and it's not very often that teams play flashes on Icebox anymore. It's just not very conducive. The angles that you're playing, there are too many long-range sight lines, and it's really hard to get good flashes, even though KO was meta for a little bit of a while on Icebox. He very quickly was moved out as well. So I'm a little surprised that we are getting to see a flash initiator, but I think it'll make it a lot more interesting.
For sure, especially when you're dealing with like a KJ or even the Sage and whatnot, but especially the Viper, I think, is what it comes down to, is being able to stall out those toxic screens. And actually, speaking of which, I called for the Viper on both teams, but Slorth ends up going for that Omen pick, which actually used to be a really long time ago the mainstay controller for this map before Viper found her niche.
Yeah, and I mean, the Omen is alright. I feel like he's okay. Can get really aggressive since you're missing out on a secondary duelist on Andromeda. However, I think that just nothing tops Viper on Icebox, and if you want to play Omen, then you should at least still have that Viper in the back pocket.
Yeah, it's a big risk potential for sure, but already the contact play up here for Houston Scarlet. And it looks like Andromeda have decided to completely give up the site just for this Viking that take off this.
Oh, already two down by University of Houston Scarlet, and they're making more space, trying to get into Snowman. Orchid finding a second. There are so many sheriffs on this team. Do they just all have sheriffs? Every single one of them had a sheriff. There was barely any util. Only Raven actually didn't buy into that pistol, and now it's going to be the Spectres, and actually most of them are going to keep the sheriffs, other than Orchid.
Yeah, this is okay. So Orchid actually purchasing up all the way to a Vandal in this situation. Alita. I wasn't sure if they were gonna maybe save for a potential hero rifle into the 3rd round, but full save on the side of Andromeda. And kick things off. Now swapping sights. Usually you see the opposite on Icebox. I feel like pistol round, most teams start towards A, then 2nd round they'll go over towards B, but they flip-flopped it here for us.
Immediately, Orchid finding 2, not very surprising, even securing a headshot with that last bullet in the Vandal. Very quick round going over to University of Houston Scarlet. And you definitely see that there is a lot of coordination that's happening over on this Scarlet squad, and probably is lending itself to the fact that because they all play under the banner of University of Houston, they definitely do probably get more practice.
Yeah, you can tell that there's a little bit more confidence. But again, it's only the first 2 rounds, right? And I do like that we are seeing Andromeda like just attempting to play those numbers, play for the retake. Buying up full here, but Andromeda, they're a slow start to get towards site. 3 members still towards spawn. Luckily, it allows for a quick rotation over to A. And Houston Scarlet, they're putting no pressure on the other side of the map.
They're just deciding to fight their way through this 5-player stack over here on A. Altier is still able to take down the Jet, and Binko finds another. Now just rounding the corner, Sova finds a second. Alakazuma is able to find one of her own, but unfortunately it's just going to be all 5 players out, and on the buy-up round, Andromeda is unable to secure their first.
Alakazam. Just looking to make some magic happen here for Andromeda, but unfortunate for the defenders as economy is looking pretty tough right now, and Andromeda is still electing to actually full buy up for the most part. A couple half ecos, but the money situation's not going to be the same for the team if they're not able to secure a round here on an off buy.
There's that early flash for the information, so they know that there's at least presence. A secondary flash, no more guiding lights now for the defensive squad. Rotations came in quick, but already it's just a spray down once again. All red, lighting up that kill feed in Slorth with only a Marshall. Can't get much done. 4th round in a row, and a quick one at that.
Let's see what Andromeda have for us on this next round. Should be another save coming through, but seems like some members are going to continue to just force up with everything that they've got. Alakazuma going to be the only member on the team to actually still go for that semi-eco buy, try to even things up between everyone, but considering it all, I'd rather see Alakazuma just go for that full rifle as well with the amount of money that they have. Yeah. Now, Houston, they're swapping sides once again. This time it'll be a 4-1 split. The first time they'll have a lurk actually committing towards mid.
Yeah, definitely going to be unexpected. You can see that there's a lot of that A presence since they've gone there twice in a row, and they're just expecting that sort of presence. But nice, it's a first blood over to Andromeda's side, and able to take down 2. Orchid on top, Yellow though, trying to turn things around with the Blade Storm, able to secure the headshot on Jet, a second headshot onto the Omen, and now it is still all left up to the Sage. Orchid rounding around the site, is able to find that last one, a 4K from the Jet to turn things around.
I think what's tough here for the side of Andromeda is they are playing for retake, but it's not really working out in their favor. I'd like to see maybe a bit more aggression. Sometimes you have to face aggression head on and not really let those nerves get to you instead of, you know, playing a bit far back and whatnot. So perhaps on this next eco round, Andromeda might be able to get a little bit aggressive, but no, it's not going to be an eco still. Forcing up with everything that they have. It's been since round 3 that they've had a full buy.
Alakazuma is able to find one, but it's immediately traded back, even on the kills so far. Orchid is actually spotted and tagged up by the Marshall, and now trying to make some more space in mid. Just lands that flick onto Axabella, and now it is just going to be one Killjoy left on site. The Omen slowly rotating around, but I don't think there's much to be done. Once again, only the Marshal from the shadows available, but Orchid's in good position.
Yeah, not going to check this corner either, and a clean 6-0 here for Houston Scarlet. Like to see a bit more of that ebb and flow play. Even, I feel like, you know, Houston Scarlet, they're pretty confident that there's no flank that's going to be impending. Maybe would like to see a call coming out from Andromeda to put a bit of pressure there. Because I feel like at this time, Houston Scarlet, they go so quickly to blitz towards site. Due to the confidence of just being able to secure it, they just go in, they're not afraid to fight it off. And very often, Andromeda also just like fall back and try to give it up. So, looking to see some of those adjustments. But again, a tough buy to come out. Clears close corner with that recon, and first blood into the hands of Orchid, and she is going in.
Orchid is just so good at securing these first bloods, and now the dash already primed. Oh, runs out of bullets on the Vandal, but it's not going to matter. Now taking out the Classic, and it's the Omen left over once again, and it's a flank call that you were wanting, Ash, but still, Orchid is expecting it, gets a reload. I'm not sure if Slorth hears that, and Slorth able to take down Orchid. Able to pick up the Vandal as well, but now everyone knows exactly where she is. It's not going to be a much. Dinko finds the last pick. It's 7-0 for University of Houston Scarlet.
I think it's tough in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes down to it, Orchid is just a powerhouse. We saw the little peek at the Immortal Gun Buddy as well there on Orchid's hands. So you can tell that Orchid just feels really confident in taking duels, confident in being able to secure these frags. And currently, 8.0 KDA with these openings.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that this is also Andromeda's map pick, so it's probably going to be where they're more comfortable. Fracture is incredibly hard to play if you're not a coordinated team. Once again, Guiding Light goes out early over the pipes to find that early info. Orchid trying to make space from Maze, finds the first pick, still doesn't get nervous after whiffing those first shots, and trying to peek the Killjoy, dashes out straight into the Omen sightlines, but gun isn't out for Slorth. I think Slorth has only bought the Marshal for like 5 rounds in a row, but it's a flawless for UHS.
Hey, maybe Slorth
works,
is a
it
Marshal
works.
demon. But finally, a proper full buy able to come to fruition here for Andromeda. It's definitely tough because it's kind of hard to try and delay Orchid in this situation. There's no Sage. Orchid is kind of just going for upper angles as well, so it's not like you can place down a Nano in main, and because Orchid's just going to fly over that regardless. This time,
Yeah.
okay, I was going to say leaving A really early, but instead they will be reclaiming close, and Trailblazer to come out here from Alakazuma.
The utility from Alakazuma is doing a lot of work to try and delay, but Alita, secondary duelist, still able to find the frags. Orchid finally gets a double peek, peeks into the crossfire, and the lockdown comes out from Killjoy to force the players off the site. But already rotation has been called. Spike has made their way over to B Garage, and the rotation has come in through mid, now having control of the entirety of back site as well as kitchen. KitKat able to escape death, but now they know there's not a lot of places for them to go, and with a full buy, I think they might be calling to save here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that save call. The money situation not looking too great, still 2 rifles in hands, but KitKat's playing a one and done angle in this situation, right? 15 HP. Valita chooses to check in towards screens. Could be able to get that weapon out of the hands of KitKat, but instead, just playing a little bit more safe. Not really expecting... Okay, no. That's the green light for Alita to go for this frag.
One enemy remaining.
Well, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to secure the second. Does not look like it. But still, no save allowed from the side of Andromeda. UHS is able to close in on them, pinch around A, and just secure all the frags. Axabella definitely wasn't expecting someone to be already in attacking spawn. Now, it's looking like another B-side hit, but I think that UHS can kind of just go where they want. They don't really have to execute. You have Orchid 20-3, and it's only been at 9 rounds, completely farming, and it feels like she's unstoppable. They don't have that Viper, and I feel like Viper is one of the best agents to be able to delay that jet, make them hesitate because they have to walk through the toxic screen, take a little bit of health damage, a little bit of chip damage before they take the fights, but they just don't have that. Slorth is trying to delay now with the paranoia, but it's not going to do much. Raven finding 2 frags. Oh.
Yeah, that shrouded step up was a death sentence, unfortunately. Already down to 1 enemy remaining. It's going to be Orchid close things out. Another 3K in pocket and a flawless round to hit double digits here for University of Houston Scarlet.
Yeah, I mean, Orchid is just so clean, and it feels like in the battle of just gun duels, there's not much you can do, and even then, they're using a lot of utility early, especially Alakazuma. I feel like is the only one who might be capable of stopping this rampage that we have UHS coming out on, but you also need to have the teammates peeking off the guiding lights, peeking off the concussions, and off the ulti, which is now down. On the other side, it's still 4 ultis available. That Blade Storm is ready. The Hunter's Fury is ready, and they can just use it at their behest. They are on such a good streak. But Anissa, I like this. You're able to find that one after just heading out into mid, catch their controller off guard.
Yeah, breaking that turret as well just to add that pressure, but what I want to see is Anissa falling back afterwards. Has the resurrection still available as a win condition here for Andromeda, and for the first time we're seeing a big numbers advantage here for Andromeda. As I say that, they start to fall.
Well, the 2v1 situation for the Sage, and Bingo, what a shot, just peeking out, planting that spike down as well, getting the economy up nice and pretty. Now 11 rounds in a row, and Andromeda is looking mighty broke. They are able to buy a few Odins, actually. I think they've kind of given up on this match so far, so they're just going to go ahead, take out the machine guns, see if they can switch up their strategy, since what they've been doing hasn't been working.
Part of me is like hoping that all of these Odin players just stick together and like W key, like just walk with them. It's the most tilting thing and often hard to punish, but aggressive shrouded step up on top of green here for Slorth. That drop will be heard though by these 2 UHS players, and
oh no way!
The spray able to get one. The Odins, they're coming out on top.
And there's a resurrection to come in as well to try and get that little bit of player advantage. Binko's trying to even things out, and they've already taken down the controller as well as Orchid, so you don't have that jet rampaging, but turns around just as they peek into mid, and it's the Empress they have to now contend with. Alita with 4. Now all Kit Kat has to do, or Raven has to do, is find 1 against this jet close right, and it's 12 in a row, a perfect half for UHS.
The closest round yet there for Andromeda. And match point already as we swap sides. Regardless of hitting match point, pistol round was going to be a must-need win for Andromeda. Try to secure some rounds under their belt, but when it comes down to it, I really think like you're looking at a beast of a duelist here with Orchid, completely fearless in going in, and just a tough matchup here for Andromeda.
I definitely feel like Andromeda is having a really, is probably going to have a really difficult time on Fracture, since this map is already very, very challenging, and it was their own map pick, and I don't think they expected such a force to be found in UHS when they started. Orchid going aggressive. Oh my god, okay.
Wait, where were those
things? A flawless pistol round to close things out. It was a close one. You know, that gunfight I feel like was the most that we've seen this Jet whiff in the entirety of the match, and that's impressive. But unfortunately, it is going to be a 13-0 sweep.
Yeah, GG's for map number 1. Unfortunately, that's Andromeda's pick now going into the pocket of Houston Scarlet. And man, Orchid was playing some beast mode gaming there. But as a reminder, you guys can also play the biggest games on day 1. Are you excited as we are for Starfield, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall coming in 2023? With PC Game Pass, you can enjoy incredible new games as they launch. Join now at GamePass.com and be ready to explore the universe, take on piglins, a legion of vampires, and all on day 1. Tala, I mean, what a first matchup for us to watch.
I definitely feel like it was enjoyable to watch because sometimes it's fun to just watch someone run around and smurf on people. But I definitely feel like it's going to be a difficult one to come back from when it comes from Andromeda's side, both mentally and just in terms of the mechanics, the gameplay. It's going to be tough, but we're going to be finding out how this series ends if we make it to a map 3 after Fracture, University of Houston Scarlet's map pick after a very quick break. You then. everyone, welcome back. We are on map 2 of our UHS versus Andromeda matchup, and we are going to Fracture. I am Epitomes, I am joined here by Ash, and we are excited to bring you this next map.
Absolutely. But as a reminder to bring you guys other potential tournament features and whatnot, on Paidia Portal, they have designed a tournament feature accessible for all levels of tournaments. Whether you're looking for a quick bracket with friends or you're hosting a big tournament with a prize pool, PaidiaGaming.com allows you guys to collect tournament signups, manage a bracket, communicate with players, and much more. Take a look over at PaidiaGaming.com. And speaking of Paidia, we're here for the Paidia Cup map number 2. We're heading over towards Fracture Tala. This time, Houston Scarlet will be starting on the defender side, but I think the worry here is that Fracture can be very kind to defenders in pushing out towards one side or the other. So I feel like we're going to see some aggression coming out from these girls for sure.
I mean, I definitely feel like we saw a lot of aggression from UHS's side already on Icebox, and that's not even a map that is very conducive to those aggressive kind of pushes that you see happening. But on the other side, I don't think Andromeda is going to have a great time on Fracture, because we saw how much of a coordinated team UHS was, and it's just really difficult to beat anything other than coordination, even if you can win those gunfights, even if you can get the utility out. If you are not as put together on Fracture, then those weaknesses really start to crack real wide.
Yeah, I want to honestly see Andromeda pull out more of those cheese plays. When they had the Odins and were kind of like moving like a swarm, that's what worked out best for them. So I want to see Andromeda continuing to have fun, trying to pull the same kind of strategies, maybe in that kind of sense, just to keep the vibes high, maybe cheese it out a little bit. And we've already got some agent hovers and selects coming through.
Seems like we're going to be getting a Neon potentially out of KitKat. Also a little bit of a role swap here. Alita has locked in Killjoy, and they were previously playing the Reyna. So now Alakazuma has turned onto the Killjoy after they were previously playing Sky. Axabella and Anissa are going to stick to their roles. And Slorth, it seems, might be locking in the Sova. No, they're not. And I was concerned about that one because I was thinking, they don't have smokes the way that they're hovering right now. There is no controller, and I honestly don't want to see a game of Fracture played without that controller, because it's just so hard to take sites without blocking off any sight lines, and it's really hard to hold sites when you don't have any of those smokes.
The only thing I could think of, if Slorth does commit to the Sova pick, is maybe just really relying on KitKat to have that fast lane available every single round for a really fast blitz onto site. But if you get stalled out, that also means that you won't have anything else to provide cover there for Andromeda, and the Sova pick will come through. So I think more of the vibe that we're getting here is like Andromeda, more of that puggy team, friends playing with each other and going for their comfort picks on each map as instead of like set comps.
Yeah, I feel like they probably weren't expecting to play Fracture because they're playing a double Sentinel, double Duelist, and it was. Did they lock in Sova? I feel like that just like whooshed past my eyes. Yeah, and a single initiator, and it's not a lot of info that can be shared in between Killjoy and Sova, especially on the attack. Killjoy is excellent for holding those sites and for flank watch, but otherwise they don't have a lot of aggression swinging their way in terms of initiators. A lot of the times, flash initiators are very popular on Fracture. But they instead only have that info, and they have the fast lane and the jet, and potentially the Sage Wall, I suppose, that could kind of perform the same way a Toxic Screen does, but only for a very short length of the map.
For sure. This is a total aside, by the way, but I didn't know that little arcade room was one of like the hidden rooms on Fracture. I've never seen that room before. But to start things off here in the pistol rounds, Andromeda on the attack, Houston Scarlet on defense, and looking for some aggression out towards B. You've got the haunt to go through. Binko doesn't find anything. It's the green light for Houston. Continue to push.
And they have that singular Prowler Pinko already with the first pick, and now lots of damage being put out onto the controller, but a push into spawn's not going to matter. Alakazuma, the only one able to escape the onslaught, but it's going to be without the spike, and she's going to have to find a way back to retrieve it.
Yeah, this is a tough situation, not really knowing where the rest of UHS is now. You know, maybe expecting one or two players to be guarding the spike here. Here's the spray, and fortunately the elbow of Alakazuma is peeking out of the double box, and a flawless round to start things off here for Houston Scarlet.
And that was a really nice pinch play that they have, and it's really helpful to have the breach on their side, able to do the fault line all the way from rope and be able to flash through the door, make it really safe for Orchid to peek out and try to take those fights, especially as a raise, since you don't have the get out of jail free card. And now they're all buying up into the Spectres. Andromeda has decided that they need to stop the bleeding as quick as possible and are going to buy into the Spectres as well, albeit with less shields.
But look at how they're holding. Just like a little,
That's crazy.
little clump of grapes here in the southern side. But UHS, they fully cleared out north, so they have to be expecting that Andromeda is coming for a quick push now that time has gone by here towards either main. Andromeda does choose to go towards B main, but a lot of delay with these mollies and the smoke as well, and that's a nano being thrown out, so that should be the second molly popped as well.
Oh, what? Yeah, the second one was popped, and Raven is able to take one down. Still stuck in the corner.
Oh, the dash out.
Going to use the tailwind to get out, but that means no tailwind for initiation, and they're following them through. So it doesn't matter that even using the tailwind. So, Slorth going to see if they can find a pick on the ropes. Too slow on the trigger there. Now Alakazuma once again on their own, on their lonesome.
Does
This
Alakazuma
time
go
with the
back?
spike.
30
Do they go
seconds
back?
left.
They do it. They go back? No.
Oh
Altair's
no!
watching, though.
That's
Okay,
messed up.
for a second there, I was like, does Alakazuma have a chance? But fortunately, another flawless round there for UHS. It's Andromeda forced up last round, means that they don't have that full buy to fall back on here. Regardless, we'll just continue to force up with everything that they have to contest UHS's bonus.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a really tough situation for Andromeda once again. They kind of gave everything into that last force, but this time they're going to force again. Axabella getting a Bulldog in the hands and the Guardian, the most powerful gun so far. They're waiting out the utility to those. This is really smart adjustments from Andromeda, but it means that they give up a lot of space since they don't want to fight through the concussion.
Fade Prowler out as well. Doesn't find anything, but Altair is going to continue pushing up, and the haunt comes through. It reveals more, but it's trade for a trade here. And Andromeda, now they're looking at a 2v4.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god, Axabella just doesn't expect Orchid to be chasing there. And it's just like a little bit of a lack of awareness from this Andromeda side. Now Kit Kat alone with a ghost doesn't really have anything to lose, has full utility, and has spike. So their only option really, as they're getting pinched from behind by Orchid, is to try and head in through drop. Kit Kat fired a few shots. I'm not sure if they were trying to break the seas or what was happening there, but definitely gave away their position, allowed for a pretty free kill from Binko. And now, once again, UHS ahead by 3, Orchid having the showstopper already available.
Yeah, that's scary. Because you know that Orchid, once they have like a sniff of where this team is going, they're gonna pull this out. I'm pretty confident in that factor. I feel like Orchid's gonna want to try and use this as soon as possible, then continue to farm those alt orbs to get the showstopper online again and again. Boombot out shouldn't find anyone just because the duration is so much shorter now, cut down to half. But Orchid does hear that alarm bot being placed down, so presence of one at least known here outside of A main.
Yeah, I think that UHS hasn't fought a single rifle since round 2, and they're just like picking up what has been given to them. Orchid shut down though early, and they've still made it a 4v3 situation. Not ideal, but with the health half on Raven, it makes it a lot easier for them to clear through one or the other site. It seems like they're trying to hit B site this time.
Just causing a little bit of a distraction here towards Arcade. Not able to retrieve the Phantom, though. Relay Bolt narrowly misses Raven, and 23 health left. Raven secures the pick there onto Kit Kat. Andromeda super hesitant outside of B main at the moment. Turret is watching flank, but the recall actually comes through, and that's the green light for UHS to continue peeking.
30 seconds left.
I think Alakuzuma's rifle also peeked out of the generator box. So it's going to make for an easy 2 picks from UHS, and also brings the Rolling Thunder online as well. Now with a very janky buy coming through for Andromeda, it feels like they should maybe just try to go on a full save so they can match their economy together and be able to full force into one or the other site. Because defense should not be this easy on Fracture. It is very tough to have to hold 2 sites on the opposite side of the map and not be able to find this entryway through mid.
To be fair though, UHS, they are constantly going for map control as well. So it's like information's always being given, but for the first time, First Blood is going into the hands of Andromeda, an opening pick here onto the A site, but Alita is holding towards A for the first time, but walks right out, highlighted by that recon.
That was some really nice combination of utility to get that first pick, but unfortunately they're not able to go any further. We're taken down, and it's all up to these 3 players left over in a 3v3 situation. Their disadvantage right now is mostly the shields as well as the 2 ultimates from UHS. The Rolling Thunder, such a powerful retake ultimate specifically, and they're just really hesitant to go to either site. Is this another safe call by them, or are they just being overly cautious?
I think they're just overly cautious because UHS is flanking from everywhere at this point, right? Round for round, they're constantly hunting for
30
Andromeda,
seconds
who struggle to get the plant down. With 30 seconds left, it's going to be a turret up towards tower and looking to push through Arcade because you don't have time to rotate.
Orchid once again with another shot onto Anissa. Now 13 seconds, they have to push through. Raven has the first pick, and now it's all left up to Axabella, who swings out wide, but the Boom Buddy has activated. If Raven's Phantom didn't kill her, the Boom Buddy probably would have. 5 in a row for UHS, but the rounds are being taken a lot slower. It's not like Icebox where every round was a glitch, because it's up to Andromeda to set the pace for this map as the attackers.
Absolutely, just slowing things down, trying to avoid getting flanked by UHS, who are giving some respect to the flank, not being as aggressive as we had previously. But now that's 3 ultimates onto the side of UHS. Orchid hasn't pulled it that showstopper like I was originally expecting, but there's the same push that we saw on the pistol coming up from UHS outside of A main.
Vita and Axabella trading back and forth 1-for-1, taking down a Sentinel, can crack open a site for UHS, but now the underpass being retreated through as the flank comes in over on the A side north of the map. Bingo finding one more Rolling Thunder going through. Spike still trying to be planted despite the Rolling Thunder, but it's not going to do anything. Orchid is able to find a 3K once again, and 6-0 already, a guaranteed tied half for University of Houston Scarlet.
Well, you have a little bit of breathing space though at the quarter. Just want to remind you guys that Riot Games is now on Game Pass. Play legendary titles from Riot Games with premium benefits for PC Game Pass members. Just link your Xbox profile to your Riot account, unlock agents, champions, little legends, XP boosts, and more. Join now at GamePass.com and get your first month just for $1. Speaking of money, Another broken buy here for Andromeda, forcing up again with everything that they have. But we'll see if they can make do with these bulldogs. Ooh, they heard that.
Lita makes a sound. Is that an Odin that I see in Alakazuma's hands?
I don't think they can afford. Wait. Wait.
Oh, it was a little bit of a whiff from Alita. It works out though. Still gets concussed by the relay bolts, but it's going to be all right. Having the smoke from Brimstone coming in clutch to just rescue them from the city situation. Orchid also coming in a quick flank alongside Binko over on the south side of the map from A. And now all players are just corralled in underpass, knowing exactly where they are due to that Killjoy lockdown. Lockdown has been destroyed, and it's just left up to Anissa. Not much she can do there. A flawless once again.
Interesting. I wasn't expecting the Odin to come out. I'm not gonna lie. I think someone was on a ghost, and I was like, the math is not mathing right now, but it's all good. We're still gonna have some LMGs coming into this next round. Rifle into the hands of Axabella. Does also have the Blade Storm online, so curious to see if Axabella will kind of pull that out just to give some opportunity for some of that movement around the map. And when it comes down to it, UHS, they're just stacking up on ults here. 4 in pocket. Andromeda do have 3 of their own, but the Hunter's Fury is the only one that could provide some zoning for an opening, but you don't get the space to do so when you've already got a Nightfall pushing out on you.
Oh, yeah, and the health disadvantage now from all being caught inside the ultimate. Secondary flawless for UHS once again. Love a little bit of movement around the map, but it's not going to do much here. And now Andromeda at a loss once again. It's like their economy is mismatched. Their ultimate economy isn't good. They ult in when they're in a little bit of a panic situation. Like Alakazuma placed down the lockdown as they were getting pinched from both sides, and it just wasn't safe to use the lockdown there.
Yeah, what I would like to see from Andromeda is they're playing 2 eco ultimate agents, right? When it comes down to it, you've got the Overdrive and the Blade Storm, but continue to buy up guns in that situation. Now, Showstopper finally to come out. There's 3 players in the corner, manages to find 2, but Slorth gets the trade. Now, Anissa is the last one alive in this situation. Hunter's Fury pulled out by Slorth in the corner, and all alone is Alakazuma with the Odin.
How can they afford another Odin? This is just what I want to know. What are they doing that is giving them all these credits to buy LMGs every round?
You gotta calculate so you can always afford the most toxic gun in the game, am I right?
Oh, the unfortunate part about them having the Odin is I feel like it's not being used to its full potential because they're not really sure which walls are wall bangable. But I feel like you can definitely sense that there's a huge skill difference between these 2 teams. It just feels like the knowledge of the game is more cohesive for University of Houston Scarlet. Andromeda is definitely struggling, but I think the Bucky to come out from Slorth is going to definitely be interesting. And they have a Neon, you know, they could go for those really cheesy shotgun plays. And I think that would actually work a lot more in their favor because trying to play the game properly against players that are objectively better than you is definitely going to be a struggle bus.
Yeah, especially when you know that UHS is going to constantly push into you, right? But now, again, 1 enemy remaining here. Alakazuma once again. Spike down just outside of this smoke, playing with the turret, but smoke's gonna fade, and another flawless round into the pocket of Houston Scarlet, 10-0.
Rounds are going by a lot quicker now as well than they were before the quarter, and it's just what are you supposed to do against the 10 in a row? Now we see Axabella has a Blade Storm ready, and I would really love for them to try and use the Blade Storm instead of buying a half shield Vandal, since it's just puts you at so much more risk. And you see that Kit Kat might be going for that idea with pulling out the high gear or the overdrive and buying full shields instead of getting a rifle and half shields.
Overdrive yet to be popped though, just waiting until they're ready to make some contact. once again pushed up here towards A main, and Andromeda sitting into spawn waiting for the push to come in. But what's dangerous about this is the fact that there's always that lurking presence of a breach that enables the green light for Orchid to continue to push forward.
Yeah, the fault line has already been used, so they don't have to worry about that little bit of crowd control, but there's still the orbital strike, and they're all going to go into a narrow corridor. Orchid is taken down by the overdrive, actually, but still a 1-for-1 trade. Make it 1-for-2 as Slorth takes down Altier, trying to trade for Orchid. Binko now trapped in a corner. They're shooting out the Prowlers, and there's not a lot of places that Binko can go, but now only Slorth being the one peeking. Oh! Binko! What was that? An ace to come through? It's just playing aimbots inside of A main. The 11th round secured single-handedly by this fade.
Those head taps were clean. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you have 3 people peeking you, and it's just the 1, 2, 3 tap to come through. A nice opening, though, coming from KitKat for that round, but it's tough because Andromeda, even if Binko didn't secure this, you had to push out from B main as well from UHS. Andromeda completely pinched.
Yeah, and it wasn't just that it was a triple swing. There was kind of being swung one at a time when you look at the replay, and Binko was just able to remain incredibly calm in that situation. And that is a really respectable play from University of Houston Scarlet. Now, Andromeda is a little bit hesitant to be able to go for split pushes on either site. They like to stay together. They don't want to get caught out and lose the gunfights just because they have a numbers disadvantage, which is the hard part of Fracture. Now Altier having the Rolling Thunder. Oh my gosh, the barrier orb. It's smart, but it's not going to save them. Orchid with the blast pack able to get on top of the generator. Now a 2v4. Okay, the Odin's able to find one, but nothing more.
Ooh. Getting some hot and heavy on the nose at half, but speaking of Valorant, you guys can fast track your Valorant game. With PC Game Pass, members will unlock all current agents, 20% match XP boost given to the Battle Pass, Event Pass, and active agent contract progress. Plus, get a day 1 access to every new agent as they're released. Join now at GamePass.com and get your first month for $1. And man, what's attractive about that to me is getting access to every new agent as they're released, because we know that there's a new one actually impending in just about a week or a week and a half. That's going to be the new initiator that we don't know too much about yet.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the new initiator to see what they're going to bring to the meta, how they're going to switch things up, or maybe it's going to be another harbor where you can't really play them, but we will have to see, and you might be able to see sooner than everybody else with a $1 game pass for your first month. Now, Florth getting pushed all the way in tower, Orchid going up the rope down to 7 HP after a nice dink from Slorth, but it's not going to do much more since there's no one there to trade her. Raven peeking through her own smoke and right click to take down Zumaz. It's not looking good. Another flawless pistol. UHS is able to take the series 2-0, 24-0 in a flawless fashion.
Ooh. That's gotta feel good. You know, 2 13-0s, a 2-0 to end out week number 3 for them as well. But Tala, we do actually have an interview coming up here with one of the members of University of Houston Scarlet. So we're gonna get that set up quickly on the back end. So you guys stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to week number 3 of the Paidia Cup. We just saw Houston Scarlet take it with a clean 2-0 series, the 13-0 sweeps back to back. And Tala, we've got a great interview on the other line. We're going to phone a friend and bring in Binko to ask her some questions and see how she's doing. Hi, Binko.
Hi.
Congratulations and GG's on the win. How are you
Thank
feeling?
It was pretty exciting to play with our team. We're ready for this season, so it's
I
pretty
love
fun.
that. I love that for you guys. So obviously, Houston being Houston Scarlet, you guys are like a forum team who do scrims and whatnot. How long have you guys been together and like what's the synergy like for you guys?
Fun fact: we actually just started, I think, last
Oh.
fall 2022. It was kind of hard to find like girls around like our university, but Orchid, our IGL, she's a friend of mine for a while now, like maybe a year. She was actually playing for the one of the co-ed teams for UH, and then we decided like, hey, we know 3 girls already that go to UH. We could make a all women's team or FENB team. So we started that last sem, and then we have a core 4. We just got picked up Nithi. She's our 5th. She's new this sem, so. All right, Alita in game.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
you
I
guys
was
are
like,
who's
I don't know
Nithi?
who
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, we were wondering if we saw that name in game.
Yeah.
But so like what's your pregame routine like? So you've been together for like a semester about?
Yeah, the semester
Do you
about.
have anything like pregame that you do? Maybe death matches, maybe run a few swift plays.
Oh yeah, for
anything
sure.
Like that?
We like to get into the call at least 30 minutes beforehand, and then we just talk to each other about our days, and then we just DM each other. We go in the range. That's pretty much it. And then we go over like anything that happened in the VOD review beforehand, or certain scrims you want to work on for this specific match that's gonna come up. So.
For sure. And was there anything that you were expecting going into today? Did you play any other matches in the Paidia Cup yet? And
Oh,
you
yes.
kind of had an idea?
Yeah, we already played. This is our second match in the Paidia Cup. We played Powerpuff Girls, I think, last week. We wanted to work on our icebox for today, so we worked on it because we pugged icebox last week against Powerpuff Girls. So we worked on that in scrims and VOD review, and then we took it into today's match. I think that was our pick today. So we just wanted to work on some timings that were off from last week.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. Well, I was wondering, like, I think it's awesome that you were able to create like a women NB team here for you, Houston, especially considering the fact that I think it's like so hard for
It is.
colleges to find like players and whatnot. So what do like events like the Paidia Cup mean to you and your team to like have these kind of opportunities? And on top of that, I guess a secondary question is, what are your guys' goals going into the future as well?
The Paidia Cup, honestly, we were thinking about quitting collegiate altogether after last sem because last sem there was actually no opportunities like for just women and NB, like just marginalized genders in general, like in collegiate scene. So we were about to go FA, and then we got a message from one of our managers. He was like, "Hey, like there's a lot of tournaments coming up for next sem, this sem." And then so when we heard about Paidia Cup, we were super excited because there's an opportunity where we could like compete in. So that's a really cool. We were very excited, so we decided to stay for the school. And then what we're excited for this sem, what we're looking forward to is just joining as many like FE, NB like cups or tournaments or leagues. Just get our name out there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Are we gonna potentially see you guys participating in BCT Game Changers this year?
I don't know. We weren't able to compete in Astro Clash because we had like school stuff like
Yeah.
in the way. So we'll see. We'll see. That'll be very, very exciting though.
Fingers crossed. I'm really looking forward to
you.
seeing what else you guys end up bringing on the table and looking forward to seeing you guys also throughout the rest of the Paidia Cup. But before we do head out, I just want to say a big thank you for your time, for doing this interview with us. And are there any last like shout outs or thank yous you want us to give before we sign off?
I just want to say like shout out to all our friends, our supporters. It means the world because we need to get our names out there and represent like women in gaming and everybody else.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Binko, for joining us
Thank
tonight.
you.
GG's and congrats again on the big win. Looking forward to seeing how you guys shape up for the next few weeks as well. But we're going to have to say goodbye to Binko for now, guys. And Tala and
Bye,
I are
guys.
going to sign out. We'll see you later. Tala, how are you feeling about that interview?
I mean, I think it was pretty awesome that they did go out and look for, a marginalized gender, female and NB team within their own school. And I think it's really, really rare that you see those in the collegiate Valorant scene, since it's already so new, to be fielding all women's and non-binary teams. That is just incredible to see that people are actually trying to start initiatives, and it's just so grassroots.
Absolutely. I guess that's where I bring out the closing remarks too, right? Like a big thank you again over to Paidia and to Xbox for supporting the underrepresented genders scene and making events like this possible to give these opportunities to teams who are looking for a place to level up and whatnot. But Epitomes and I are going to be done for tonight. We thank you again for tuning in. I believe there will be some more Esports U action on stream a little bit later. So you guys tune in for that. But for now, it is good night from us, and we'll see you guys next time.